Hello, my name's Austin Tamargo, and I want to talk today about the force of will and how, they say in capitalism, oh, we need free market because we need competition. So, yeah. So I'm trying to explain that concept in relation to socialism and how the interest of the collective are, you know, coincide with the interests of the individual. Excuse me. All right. So first of all, I wrote this book. It's called State Capitalism, and I'm gonna start out by reading a short part of it real quick that relates to this. This is in chapter 7. It starts on page 213. A little ways down. It says, the illusion that individual success is more important than collective success, or vice versa. There's two seemingly opposing thought processes that unnecessarily struggle against each other in our current culture. They are the individualist philosophy and the collective mindset. I feel an easy way to explain this is to relay a conversation I recently had. I told this person that it was my current thought that someone striving to prove that they are a better communist or better at helping people is not necessarily wrong. I believe many people in this world are competitive, as the capitalists say, and if they are going to compete amongst each other, should they not at least compete to prove who is the best at serving humanity? The person replied to me by telling me that they do not agree. They also said that they believe that competition and individualism run hand in hand, and that they are toxic traits in our society. Also, they said if there was ever a best commie award, that they would be against it because it goes against the principle of communism. My reply was that I do not believe individualism and competitiveness are inherently toxic. There is a difference between healthy individualism and toxic individualism. Also, that not recognizing that people do things for their own interest and to better their own specific material conditions is toxic in itself because it misrepresents what communism is. I then asked them what principle they are referring to, because communism is about rewarding people with the fruits of their labor, only no more than they themselves earn. So, with this in mind, what makes communism a good system is that it shows people that the interests of the individual are better when they are in line with the interest of the collective. But if the collective interests are not truly in line with the interests of the individual members, then it is not truly in the interest of the collective. The point is that when we try to separate these two things and label one bad and the other good, we miss the point and subsequently drift away from the true path towards communism. Another way to understand this is to look at the psychological implications of this matter. I believe the more we incorporate human psychology in our Marxism, the more we will be able to accurately understand what socialist policy is the most effective and implement accordingly. And this actually is fundamental to Marxism, as it has already been proven in Marxist science that our social consciousness and consciousness in general is directly related to our material conditions and our role in our socio-economic system. So, as I've discussed in this book already, the human mind becomes corrupted in a sense when one has power over others, and a culture is corrupted on a fundamental level when it encourages and rewards people to gain power and dominance over others. This is relevant to force of will and competition. Any psychologist knows that force of will, or willpower, is a powerful thing that can set a person up for success in their endeavors. Some Marxists I have talked to seem to deny the force of will. In their eyes, it is mostly luck or rich parents that sets people apart in their success in our capitalist society. While the capitalists deny this and present this philosophy that it is all willpower that determines success and nothing else. I believe some modern day Marxists are committing a mistake which has been made by incompetent Marxists in the past also, and becoming reactionary when they try to argue the opposite of whatever the capitalist indoctrinated mindset is, instead of using science to objectively look at the facts and come to a logical reason analysis of the matter. I believe that willpower may even be the main attribute that sets average people apart in their success in any society, but the factors of luck and conditional circumstances certainly do play a role and can ultimately be a deciding factor at any given time. In regards to the willpower, though, I believe we should look more closely into this psychological attribute and see how it plays a role in different socioeconomic systems. When we look at willpower expressed in a capitalist society, we usually see it used by people who, even if they start out with good intentions, succumb to greed and inevitably are corrupted, which proves to be their moral downfall, if not their material ruin as well, as sometimes they become so corrupt that society punishes them for their atrocities they inevitably commit. So, of course, the requirement to change this phenomenon is to observe is to create and put into place a new socio-economic system that encourages and rewards the people in it to be humanitarians. With this new socio-economic system in place, the people who desire to be successful in this society and therefore exercise force of will to achieve it will do so by committing real productive action that helps society and its members. And so the interest of the individual directly can come by aligning oneself with the interest of the collective. So that's basically saying that the socio-economic system they call a superstructure that all the social and economic order aligns to, which is like capitalism, socialism. Before capitalism was feudalism, where they have lords and kings. The socio-economic structure, um, it influences, and everything we do, right? And it influences on us on a deep psychological level that we a lot of people are unconscious to, and they're usually unconscious to it most of their lives, until we as communists and as Marxists try to educate them and bring them that class consciousness. That's a big thing in Marxism, is class consciousness. It's coming to a conscious understanding of the class nature of society and how that affects in your relation to the socioeconomic superstructure that you are in, because we have collective consciousness, and this collective consciousness that we're born into, this culture, influences our psyche, much more than we believe sometimes. So if we want to fundamentally change the individuals in the society, and change their desires and their goals and how they act, and we can look at the basic systems of behavior. We know in behaviorism there's people want to be rewarded. Like even animals, they want to be rewarded when they go through a maze. They want a piece of cheese. So people are gonna naturally seek to better themselves. So when they say, okay, how can I better myself? Depending on how the society is set up and how the system is set up determines what action they're going to take from there. So in capitalism, we have the system that says, like, I know, I know, look, I'm telling you, I know. So many of you watching this, if you're in the United States, at one point in your life, even if it was while you were young, for me it was years, even when I became an adult, my thought was, oh, I want to be rich, I want to have places to rent out, I want to own a big business, and I want to make money all day without doing nothing, and so I know I definitely experienced that, and there's a lot of people I feel like that really don't experience that too much, because they have really good hearts, and they say that's rare in our society. It's a common saying, because it's true, because our socioeconomic order doesn't reward that. It punishes that in a way, because that's not always successful. That's not always what gets you in a better position in life in this capitalist society. So we want to change that. So there's this one principle in Marxism-Leninism and in Marxism in general. It's called the dictatorship of the proletariat. Because there's been a science, it's all written down. I'm gonna post some links in the comments, and I'm also gonna post my book in there. And I'm just giving you a basic explanation for now, but there's so much resources you can look up and understand this. Society is always a dictatorship of one ruling class subjecting another class. Before we had kings and lords and the merchants and stuff, and then there was just the common people and the farmers and the common folk. Today we have a capitalist class, the people who most of them are born into wealth, and they rent out properties and they own these companies and they only pay people enough to survive, and they keep the rest. So we have this system, and here's one quote that just came to my mind that really sums it up, right? When the education is not liberating, the goal of the oppressed is to become the oppressor. So in our society, we're purposely taught and projected and fed this propaganda, from the even the United States military, like pays, and provides like it's in with Hollywood, you know what I'm saying, present themselves a certain way, and you're doing all this propaganda. And so they're like, okay, the only this and a lot of people really do come to this mindset in the United States, especially when they're young. Like, the only way to get ahead is to be ruthless, survival of the fittest. It's me or it's you, and so that's our goal as communists, is to educate people on the class nature of society and how we can actually change it with scientific socialism. And the dictatorship of the proletariat is a concept when the working class has a mass movement. That's where the masses of workers, from all the cities and all the main places in the United States, we come together and we collectively decide that our government has to change. And we, the working class, is represented, because now in our current government, it's only the rich capitalists who are represented in our government. All of the people in our Congress, they're millionaires, and they pass these policies. Corporate interests write the bills, and they pay them to sign out, and we all know this. And that's why a lot of people think that all governments are bad in the United States, because we know our government is corrupt. It's right in front of us all day, and it becomes a cynical joke to us. But so that's why we got to educate people and show them that there is a way to change this and fundamentally change society. And when the working class has control of the government, then the goal will be socialism. The goal of the government will be to truly serve the people and be a civil servant and administrate, what I'm saying, the projects to help us collectively move forward, as society. So thank you for listening. Hope you have a good day or night or whatever.